The drought situation has improved this spring in some areas of the southern plains, bringing relief to cattlemen hit by last summer's devastating drought. Derrell of Oklahoma State University discusses how drought relief could play out in the cattle markets and in rebuilding the nation's herd.
You know, the improvement in the drought situation in the southern plains erases one of the uncertainties we've had this spring in terms of whether or not the supply situation was going to, see additional liquidation of cattle due to the drought, or whether we would in fact transition to some sort of rebuilding mode. And I think now that we have better drought conditions, we won't be liquidating, so we won't have those short-term effects like we had last year in that respect. And it sort of starts the clock now because we can begin thinking about rebuilding. It won't be a fast process. I don't look for a lot of rebuilding rapidly in the southern plains, but I think from the standpoint of the broader market, it sort of sets the stage now for additional heifer retention and additional pressure on these feeder cattle supplies as we go forward. You know, there's several considerations that producers should look at for rebuilding. I think first and foremost, it's the questions of what condition is the forage resource really in. I think producers need to be very careful. In many cases, the native ranges were damaged pretty significantly in the drought. So that needs to be the first thing, is to take stock of the resources and see what's really feasible this year in terms of allowing some recovery. And then, of course, beyond that, we do have high prices, which is great when you're selling, but it's going to be a challenge when you're buying. And so there'll be some financial considerations and some financing considerations as producers look to rebuild their cattle herds over the next several years. Demand really becomes important as we go forward. There will be a lot more pressure as beef production falls this year on wholesale and retail prices, and that'll be a real key as we go forward.
Coming up next, how quality beef changed the fate of a family grocery store.
This segment of the Angus Report is brought to you by Omega Farms, a commitment to environmental stewardship, a place for outdoor recreation and hunting opportunities, and a source for quality, industry-leading Angus genetics. Omega Farms, become a part of the tradition. Visit us at omegafarms.com.